A live look at the Israeli-Gaza border, where the IDF is ramping up attacks on Hamas. This, as U.S. officials are reportedly working with the Palestinian Authority on a plan for post-war Gaza. When will that post-war position start? Part of that plan, according to the PLO leaders, is to bring Hamas to the table as a junior partner. Here to react, Fox News senior strategic analyst, retired four-star General Jack Keane. General, I imagine this is not, you don't think this is a good idea?
No, absolutely not, and certainly nor do the Israelis. I mean, the idea that the Palestinian Authority should be in charge fundamentally is a major problem in of itself, because they're a corrupt and ineffective organization, and they've been that way for the better part of 25, 30 years. And even the Arabs recognize that, and that's one of the reasons why they wanted to normalize relations with Israel. I'm talking about the UAE and Bahrain, because they knew no progress was being made with the Palestinian Authority. And here, the people in charge of the Palestinian Authority, their leaders, are saying, well, Hamas would have to be a part of that. Can you imagine the absurdity of something like that? Israel's not going to stand for anything like that. And number two, I mean, the Palestinian Authority is empathetic and sympathetic to Hamas. They've not condemned what they have done in any way, shape, or form. That is not going to be the answer. Now, listen, this is complicated, to be sure, in what the political entity should be. What there is agreement on is that Palestinians should be in charge of Palestinians. There is agreement on that, but what that entity is very complicated, and no one, I believe, has a reasonable answer yet. This certainly is not the answer.
General, your sources are telling you that the administration is clashing with the Prime Minister and Israel on what the objective and how long this war should last right now in Gaza. What could you tell us?
Well, that's a fact. I mean, the administration wants this war in southern Gaza that's taking place now, the campaign that we're seeing unfolding, to end in a matter of a few weeks. Here's the problem. Hamas is more of a military organization than it is a terrorist organization operating out of small cells, conducting limited attacks. They're organized into 5 brigades, somewhere around 25, 30,000. And then below that, multiple battalions, about 25 battalions, as a matter of fact. The better part of 4 brigades are still intact. Many of the middle-grade leaders have been killed, but those organizations are out there, and they are still effective. So right. Israel does not want to slow this thing, speed this up, and end it in a couple of weeks. The tempo of operations have picked up, but here's what's happening. Hamas delayed in northern Gaza, trading space for time, and moved a lot of their people south. Now they're defending, and that fight is going to take longer, and it's going to be tougher on the IDF in dealing with this. And look at, the IDF has put out maps every single day telling the people living there what neighborhoods to evacuate from. Well, they're also then telling, certainly, Hamas where they're going. And they're willing to do that, obviously, because they're trying to minimize casualties. The reason why the administration is pushing this and end this as quickly as possible and go to a ceasefire is certainly their concern about civilian casualties. Well, the IDF is also concerned about those casualties. If we stop in a couple of weeks and say, okay, we've killed most of the leaders, we've destroyed most of the organization, that still leaves Hamas intact to be able to reattack again. The Israeli people will not stand for that. I cannot believe that Prime Minister Netanyahu or his IDF generals would stand for that either.
Man, the friction's going to come front and center, too, because that's going to be a couple of weeks. So far, we understand Israel forces clashed with Palestinian fighters 15 times outside Gaza at the West Bank. So let Israel do the job so we're not back here again in a couple of years after this carnage that we all witnessed, and that video is all available. General, thanks so much. Get the Institute of Study of War. It handles all the hot spots in the world. Really gets you up to date. Thanks so much, General.
Yeah. Thank you, Brian. You guys have a great weekend.
You too.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.